This Lake Mille Lacs adventure is brought to you by 241 Inc. Productions. See it, hear it, experience it.
So Matt, you see a lot of these guys, especially people who fish some of the bigger walleye tournaments. A lot of people are running Leadcore. Why would you use Leadcore?
The reason I use Leadcore is because it's absolutely the easiest way for me to know exactly where my bait is. It's really about accuracy, and it's about a guy that, when I first started using Leadcore, it made a guy that didn't have the biggest spools and everything else to be able to get right to where those fish are. And for me, it's probably the most accurate method.
As a beginner Leadcore person, how hard is it to get into it?
I think the biggest thing about it is that once you understand that, and you look at the lead in this way, you look at the lead as the starting point for the lure. And then it becomes very easy to look at the graph and realize, okay, as long as you can divide by 7, you can use Leadcore, you know. But that's the biggest thing. The biggest problem that I see that people have is when they look at Leadcore, they think it's complex, when really you get the precision trolling app, and that'll tell you about your leaders and how far your baits are going to drop. And beyond that, it's really comes down to simple math and just understanding that you're looking from surface down to a starting point where you want that lure. And I think that becomes very simple once you look at it that way. Fish, fish, fish! Tip always down, tip always down. And we do not stop the boat. Nope, nope. Okay, one of the things I always tell people when they're reeling these up is just relax. We take your time. We got all day to bring her in.
Oh yeah. Oh.
There we go. And that is a Mille Lacs walleye. Hey, that was a perfectly landed fish. You got the rod right over the edge so I get her on the net. We got her right up. And once again, that's Leadcore fishing, man.
Let's get this guy back in the water and catch another one.
Let's get her back. Okay, so one of the things that we noticed about this, remember we caught this fish on the port side of the boat, and we were actually turning port side.
So we were going too fast.
We were going too fast. So right now what we're gonna do is, I was gonna speed her back up, but because of where that fish hit, I'll leave it exactly at 1.8 because that's actually slower than what we were going, because it always slows the boat down when you turn the motor. So now I know we want to be 1.8 and not above it. And we start making a pattern. And that's the big thing, is just to pay attention to those patterns.
So when you're out Leadcore fishing, Matt, and you've got however many thousands of different crankbait options, what comes across your mind, or what goes through your mind when you're trying to pick out the right color, a specific wobble?
Yeah, this is probably one of the toughest things you can do. But there is some basics that you can take a look at. One of the things with color is what kind of weather you have. And more overcast, or the more overcast you are, the brighter, more flamboyant that you're going to do. This is a good example. And if you're talking about something where you got sun, you want to go with more of a natural color, you know, like a creek chub. When it comes down to what do they want afterwards, that really comes down to experimentation. This is why anytime you're going to see me do a tournament, I am going to have all kinds of baits out, and I'm going to try a lot of different variations. Some of them have beads inside of them, some don't. You can see that's got a pretty aggressive bill on it, which is a deep diver, and this is going to have a big wobble on it, and sometimes they don't like that big wobble. And you really just need to experiment and find out exactly what kind of wobble they want. The other part is that if you do catch a fish, put that fish in a live well. Let it kind of soak a little bit and see what it might spit out. Because one of the other things about any kind of fishing is you always want to try to match a hatch. One of the easiest ways is to be very observant of your surroundings. But what a fish is eating, if you can match that, you'll catch that fish. One of the things about positioning your boat when you're seeing a fish come in is you want to position the boat so the fish goes outside of the boat. And then when the fish comes up, I'm going to ask you to walk right behind us. And what that does is that brings that fish closer into the boat so that we can get her netted. You ready? Okay, bring her up. And there we go. Leadcore fishing. Man, you want to get back in, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so now we have two different baits that are going on between the two different rods. We've caught a couple of fish on that. That tells me that we've dialed in with the color. We've definitely dialed in with the wobble. We've got our speed down. We did actually speed up. You remember that?
Yep.
Right? And so now what we'll do is we'll put that number 9 on that rod, and we're going to run at 2 different levels and see if we can't get the bigger boys.
Sweet.
Yeah, when you're running Leadcore, you really need to remember that, you know, like right now, we're running 3 colors and you're 90 feet behind.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start to do a corner, you've got to remember that you're 90 to 100 feet behind the boat.
Yep.
You know, so you do nice wide corners on there, and that's really where boat control is so important. Ooh, he's getting bigger. He's getting big. Look at the size of him.
That's a big fish, Matt.
Yes. Yes. That is a Mille Lacs walleye.
Oh.
All right. So this is Leadcore fishing at its finest, isn't it?
That's a
That's
big
a beautiful fish.
Look, take a look at the belly and the bottom. Look at all that.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's been fighting. And he's done.